1 out of every 4 women will be affected by domestic violence in her lifetime. Every 15 seconds, a woman is affected by domestic violence. Every day, 3 victims of domestic violence will die as a result of the abuse.
It was 11 and a half years of abuse, financial, physical, sexual, manipulation. I couldn't have any contact with my families. I wasn't allowed to have friends. Couldn't wear makeup. I couldn't wear certain things like dresses, skirts, high heels. I basically, he manipulated everything that I did. He timed even going to a store was timed. And financially, he would put a quarter tank of gas in my car, just enough so I can get back and forth from home to work. When someone says they do things because they love you, love doesn't hurt. Love doesn't manipulate you. Doesn't keep you like sort of a hostage, a prisoner in your own home, in your own environment.
Every unhealthy relationship has a power and control dynamic, where the partner that is abusive is trying to gain more power and control over the other individual.
You have some clients who don't know they're victims. You know, they don't know that a person is not supposed to hit you, that a person is not supposed to threaten you, a person is not supposed to stalk you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be a good listener, and you also have to be a person. Well, how I work with my clients is it's always about empowering them. It's always about listening and then letting them know you are a victim. I've had to tell some clients, you're a victim. And now what are we going to do to change that?
When I went in to get the restraining orders, my expectations were that the court system was going to help me and extend their arms, like, we're there for you. We understand the pattern of abuse. We see it every day. But it wasn't so. You get lost in a tangle. You're not believed. You have pictures of bruising, and that didn't seem enough. You have to relive your life again, relive those 11 years, and I'm sorry. And just, you have to make them believe you.
When clients come to us, I often find that they're very not trusting of us because they see us as another system. And so immediately we tell them that everything that we talk about is privileged and confidential information, and that, we're here to build a trusting relationship. And unless there was risk to a child, suspicion of child abuse, neglect, homicide, or a suicide, concern, everything they talk about is privileged and confidential.
A lot of people are intimidated when they come to court. And so as soon as they come into the office, I make it clear, that I'm an advocate for the Center for Women and Families. I don't work for the state. I don't work for civil court. I'm here as an advocate.
If it wasn't for the Center for Women and Families advocate, you would be lost in the whole court process. They're there for you every step of the way. They're there for your children, helping them out and understanding, what we're going through, the changes that we're all going through. I didn't want my son to become a third-generation abuser. I didn't want my daughter to feel like, oh, this is how I have to live, let somebody abuse me.
Parents go to psychoeducational domestic violence support group, and while they go to the support group, the great thing is that we have a kid share support group that the kids could go to. So they don't have to worry about who's going to watch my kids, who can babysit the kids. They could go and do something good for themselves and do something good for their kids.
If you have a victim who's come in and they're in a high crisis, which means that they're afraid to even go home, I make referrals to the Center for Women and Families Safe House, Kathy's Place, right away. I also send a referral over for domestic violence counseling.
Family relations counselors work closely with the Center for Women and Families court-based advocates throughout the entire case. The distinct difference of a family relations counselor and a victim advocate is family relations counselors make recommendations based on the information that has been gathered throughout the course of the interview and the assessment. The victim advocate's role is to inform the court, family relations and the court, as to what the victim's wants and needs are.
As family violence victim advocates, we ensure that victims of domestic violence crimes know their rights, and if they choose to exercise them, we will help them through that process. On the day of arraignment, we receive police reports from our catchment towns, and we reach out to the victims of all domestic violence criminal cases.
The Center for Women and Families has been a very important part of the community collaboration with regard to the domestic violence docket. The center provides the court advocates that work with us on our domestic violence docket. They also provide counseling to victims of domestic violence free of charge. They provide a shelter. They provide safety planning. They provide many aids to the investigation of these cases.
All of our services as court-based advocates, as well as at the Center for Women and Families, are free and confidential. As family violence victim advocates, we do not have to release any information to the court that the victim does not want us to release.
Our office is in the civil court building. Victims come into the office who are in a crisis mode or in a hurry or whatever, and they'll say to me, I just want you to help me fill out the paperwork. I don't want to hear about the Center for Women and Families. Well, that's why I'm there. I'm an advocate, and I'm also there to promote the services for the Center for Women and Families. This is going to help you as a victim become a survivor, become empowered. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about. Do you have the time to listen?
Clients trust us because they hear about us through word of mouth, and because they see that we're not judging them, that we're believing them, and that we're providing them with support, emotional support, and with resources.
The Center for Women and Families offers clients advocacy, counseling, safety planning, services for their children, a 24-hour hotline, as well as a self-sufficiency program, which can help clients with basic needs such as housing and education.
My clients, they need time to sit down and to have someone navigate the process for them. The paperwork will go upstairs to the judge. He'll make his decision, yay or nay. If the judge says yes, there's a 2-week period in which they pick up the paperwork, and in that 2 weeks they have a court date. And then that allows the marshal to serve the perpetrator. And then they appear in court 2 weeks later for the extension for the TRO. And the extension is for 6 months.
We try to make the court process as easy as possible for victims. It is a traumatic experience. It's a lengthy process. It's also difficult because for a long time we might not know a lot of information, and victims do get frustrated not knowing what's going on with cases if they're just continuing for a long time. So it's important for us as family violence victim advocates to let victims know that that's normal, and that as soon as we do have information, we'll certainly get it to them.
I was referred to Iris, who was an advocate at the Center for Women and Families, and she helped me empower myself by just letting me know that things were going to be okay, that it wasn't my fault. That's what I needed at that time, a strong woman to stand behind me to tell me it's going to be okay. I'm going to be here every step of the way. You know, they helped us with therapy, clothing, basic need as a toothbrush, a hairbrush, things that we take for granted every day, that when you leave a domestic violence situation, when you leave your home, you have no time to take anything. You just have to run.
It's very important for police officers to be involved with the team so that they can become familiar with our cases, and also so that they have the correct information when victims are seeking it through the police station. Collaboration is the most effective way to hold offenders accountable and maintain victim safety. As victim advocates, we work among the team on the domestic violence docket with prosecutors, police officers, probation, as well as other community agencies, including family relations, in order to make sure everybody has the correct information.
The team approach was developed as part of the domestic violence docket, which is vertical case management, which means it's the same people, the same players, same judge, same prosecutors, same probation officers. The family relations officers are part of the team. The police departments are part of the team. The victim advocates from the Center for Women and Families are a very important part of the team. And we all work together so that the flow of communication remains open. So if there is a problem that has come up with, say, a violation of protective order or some other matter that needs to be addressed by the prosecutor and it comes to the attention of another member of the team, we are then available to the other members of the team to come and talk to about it. And the same, if something comes up that we need to talk to a victim advocate about, or we need a victim advocate's assistant, they're here, they're in the courthouse, and we can reach out to them to reach out to the victims and get the information that we need. The police departments are an important part of the team because oftentimes we become aware of violations of protective order or problems that are occurring. And if we have police officers that we've established a good working relationship with, we can reach out to them to go and take care of the situation for us rather than just anonymously calling like the CAD center to have a police officer go out and do a well-being check. So the teamwork approach has been very, very important and very, very successful over the years.
The docket that has existed here now for going on 15 years, that is considered the state model dockets. That's my job, to bring the Bridgeport model throughout the state. Could not exist without the court-based advocates that the center provides. The advocates that have worked here now for years, the current group of advocates that we have, provide invaluable information for the prosecutor, provide needs for the victim in terms of safety planning and explaining the process to the victims that could not be provided by anybody else.
I feel like I'm a survivor. I feel, you know, I made it out. I made it out alive. If I didn't go to the center, God knows where I would be right now. God knows where my children would be. You know, if someone would, you know, be remembering me in a grave and my children. I am a survivor. And my children are survivors too.
We need all of you to help communicate to your friends, family, neighbors, coworkers that the Center for Women and Families is a resource in your community. All of our services are free and confidential. If you know someone that needs help, please tell them about the center. Tell them to call now. Thank you.